James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah. We packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the tray, yes and no.
Ball knocked to the outside, tracked down by Adebayo with just under 7 minutes to go in the fourth. They have matched their largest lead.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. It won't be long before you're playing point guard for the Guangdong Tigers. You trash-ass motherfucker. Fuck out of my face with that bullshit.
Yeah. Oh shit, that boy had Kyle Fu Panda on that bitch. That shit's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Welcome to the Basement Sports Network post-game show. Good God. That wasn't even a fucking game, bro. Oh. First of all, there's no E at the end of my name. Watch me defend Bam. Ain't no defending that shit, bro. The Miami Heat lost 106-92 to the Toronto Raptors. Whew, no Jimmy. Tyler went out there and shot the fuck out the ball like we all knew he would. Bam played like shit, and nobody else got in double figures. So, I'm your host, Roy A. Shepard, and I'm joined today by the Whites. We got my boy Ant Donato. Ant, how you doing?
I can't believe we're still doing anything at all at this point. But shout out to us and shout out to y'all for tuning in, man.
No, for sure. All 66 of y'all. Make sure y'all like this video. Subscribe to the Basement Sports Network if you have not already. Also, we have my guy Stone, a.k.a. Bam Whiteside. Stone, how you doing, bro?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. The thing with expectations is if you set reasonable expectations, you can never be disappointed. And my expectations were very low. And so I'm not disappointed. I'm doing great.
Shout out to Mary Jane Watson with the quote. And my boy rounding out the panel, we got Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Really nothing going on with this game. The only thing of note that happened during this game that I'm happy to report here is Dwayne Wade's in the Hall of Fame, baby. I don't know what that other dude is there. I try to get rid of him, but yeah.
Wade's coattail to his last All-Star game appearance of his career. So this game was a lot of bullshit. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was in and out of it because I saw, once I saw the turning of the tide, I was like, yeah, this is over with. The Heat played good for about 6 minutes, if that. And the rest of this was pretty much all Toronto. So, we want to thank my goddamn the film gent. Consistency is key, ladies and gentlemen. I got a lot of burping going on tonight, and I don't know what it is. But he proceeds right. Oompa, loompa, doopa dee dee. This whole season frustrates me. Oompa, loompa, doopa dee doo. If you have insurance, call James Pugh.
That's a bar.
So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you call the primary sponsor of the Basement Sports Network. I got James Pugh and the people over at Simple Health Advice. Ladies and gentlemen, insurance does not need to be complicated. I got James Pugh as you covered. And if you want to get to them, make sure you call at 321-345-7738 or send them an email at jpugh@simplehealthadvice. And that's 321-345-7738 or jpugh@simplehealthadvisors.com. My boy, Dan the Film Jet with the craziest lob of the season. Appreciate you, my guy. That shit was dope. Alex Campbell, thank you for the $199. Don't know. He said lottery. You and me hoping. My boy Wanye West, shout out to my boy Gabe. He said, I'm struggling to somehow make this about Tua, but Tua. Hey, listen, bro, when you're talking about mid one, you know what I'm saying? He falls right in line with that conversation, and that's what this Miami Heat team is. That's what he is, and Dolphins fans, get ready for me to talk about that all season long. But yes, indeed, somebody said he threw a better lob than Kyle Lowry. Oh, absolutely, 1,000%. I've been talking for 5 minutes straight. Let's get some of y'all to talk. Ant, go ahead and give me your thoughts on what the fuck, whatever you want to call this.
Yo, Dan, come on, dog. You got to hit me in my DMs, man. We got to work on a song together because that was just phenomenal penmanship right there. By
One of that grown-ass man to slide in your DMs is crazy.
Why you got to have such a dirty mind, Royal?
I'm sorry, bro.
Homie.
Because I'm waiting for the nasty man Darius Jordan to pop in here. You're like,
I'm in his DMs all the time too. So me and him are tight. Anyways, yo, send this entire goddamn roster to the Guangdong Tigers. Let's run down real quick. Victor Oladipo, the guy who's been benched the last couple games, saw who's in the starting line, but I figured, hey, he's gonna want to show this team. He's gonna show Spo that he still got it. My God, he could not be any worse than he was tonight. 2 of 7 shooting. Kevin Love. Holy shit, is this the worst basketball player I've ever seen? He just might be. At the same time you tweeted this out, I was thinking the same goddamn thing. He has 6'1" Fred VanVleet on him and could not even get a shot up. That is the most embarrassing thing I ever seen. When you seen Toronto's bigs cook our guards, and then I seen someone said we got size with Kevin Love. So someone said that. I don't know who. And then you got Fred VanVleet on him. He looked pathetic out there. You got Bam Adebayo, who you want to see. Supposed to be the next star. He paid like it. 7 of 18 without Jimmy Butler. Tyler Herro was the only person who played pretty good tonight, and I know that's eating you alive, Royal, because that's probably the only positive thing that someone could ever say today. Gabe Vincent was terrible. Max Strus sucks. Kyle Lowry, he continues to be embarrassing. But the person who yet again pisses me off the most is Duncan Robinson. Every time he gets open for 3, I have flashbacks to 3 years ago when he was my guy. And I get up and say, come on, Duncan. You just need one open one to get back into it. This man can barely even hit the rim nowadays. I think he had 1 or 2 of the threes on that 4 possession late in the game, which was the most dumbest thing I ever seen. And it wraps up the season in a nutshell. The dude is getting open looks, Duncan Robinson. He can't hit shit, bro. Nobody pisses me off more than him. This whole team sucks, and they're all going to be in Guangdong in a couple weeks' time, so we can look forward to that.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with what you talk about is that I feel some type of way about Tyler Herro shooting more shots than anybody else in the game, and then not really letting anybody else shoot the ball. Like I don't feel any type of way about that. I expected that 1,000% with Jimmy Butler not playing. I expected him to make this about him, and this is the result with Tyler Herro as the leading scorer on your team. One thing I got relaxing music with the 199 don't know. He said, Kyle Lowry got grandmother ankles. Eggplant emoji. You didn't think I knew that. Don't worry about it, my boy. You can't be a boss, bro. It's not cooked, brother. It's not cooked, brother. Y'all saw what that boy did. Y'all only want to look at the box score. I saw the way he played in this game. It was not great. Stone, we coming to you. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that size wasn't bothering him so much on like the offensive end, but on the defensive end, it was a different story. I mean, he got subbed out a couple of times, it looked like, just after some brutal defensive possessions. I felt like a lot of those buckets also came real easy, but I'm not going to take away from him getting 33 points, whatever. That's good for him. Honestly, my biggest takeaways from the game is any game Caleb Martin dribbles the ball 5 times in is 6 dribbles too many. And I would also say that I would like to give a shout out to Coach Spo, the greatest coach of all time, for getting Haywood Highsmith in the game so he could join Club Trillion. That is epic. I hate him. Thank you for hearing my hate, Coach Spo, and forcing this embarrassing moment on him. I'm very appreciative of that.
That is wild. We also saw some Victor Oladipo tonight, for whatever that's worth.
Unfortunately.
Alex, give me your thoughts on the game, bro.
Yeah, this one was fun, wasn't it? I just had a blast watching this one, to be honest. We were down 6 at half. They were 1 of 16 from 3 at that point in the game. The Raptors ended up shooting 8 of 36 or 22% from 3, and they absolutely fucking fried our asses all night. I don't care if Tyler Herro had 33 points. His defensive impact was about negative 65 every single time down the court. You would get a Barnes switch onto him, a Siakam switch onto him, fucking Precious Achua switch onto him. So anyone over 6'5" was switched onto him and then immediately cooked him for, two points every time, 3 points every time. It didn't matter. I don't care if he's efficient 33. It doesn't matter. When your defensive impact is that fucking piss, you are not a net positive for the game. And I really don't care who wants to debate me on that. You know who you are. I really don't care. The end of the day, this team just fucking sucks. We are now 2 games out of the 9th seed. The Raptors are on the rise. The Bulls are one of the hottest teams in the NBA. So, hey, lottery is in reach. Scoot agenda. There's still hope.
Listen, bro. But see, that's kind of my point. Like, when people look at the box score, they're going to say Tyler Herro played well because he had 33 points. But it's just like, bro, literally, Erik, you just said it, Alex. Like, literally on the other end of the floor, like, every time, it was every defensive possession, bro. It was the easiest 2 points that any of them could score. They literally just walked by this man. But, I mean, I let him have his night. He was the best player. He was a looter in a riot tonight. The best player on the worst team in the league. Like, that's what he was.
One final cherry on top here for this game. It actually coincided with another game at the same time, and this actually happened in the middle of the 4th quarter, I believe. Soak it in, everybody. Soak it in.
Man, let that resonate. Let that sizzle in your spirit, in the words of my guy Country Wayne. Like that to me, that's poetry right there. That's poetry right there. You got to let that rock. Thank you, HM, for the $5 dono. He said, before named an all-star, Bam was averaging 22 and 11. Since the all-star break, he's averaging 18 and 6. He just won't take control of this team. Let's talk about that. Bam was fucking terrible tonight. Bro, he's been inconsistent at best since the All-Star break. Tonight was one of those games where he was fucking terrible. And I'm a pro Bam guy. I wanted to run the offense through him. That just was not possible tonight. So, Ant, we're gonna start with you. Talk about Bam and how terrible he was tonight, because I'm pretty sure there were not very many positives.
Yeah, he was falling all over the place tonight. And the reason it's even more frustrating than typical is because you really want to see that we all say that he took a jump this year, right? But his next jump will come when he can really be above and beyond in those games that Jimmy misses. I've been waiting to see it all year, and we haven't, which has been really disappointing. That's kind of why I want to push back on the Tyler thing a little bit, because there's been plenty of times this year where Jimmy has missed time and Tyler has been god-awful on the offensive end. So at least he stepped it up tonight. And Alex brought up a lot of times he was switched onto guys and he was getting cooked. Typically, I agree with you. Yes, when his overall net impact is a negative, it means he had a bad game. But that's usually when he's getting cooked by the other team's guards. Tonight, I thought it was more of a defensive scheme thing because they kept switching, which is a terrible idea against this team. And you were supposed to have 2 bigs, which was supposed to help. But Kevin Love sucks. That's why Tyler Herro's getting killed.
Yeah, but if you're scheming, if they're scheming against Tyler, it's going to happen in the playoffs. They're just going to fry him every single time.
It wasn't our scheme that got Tyler exposed. They were intentionally getting Tyler on whoever had the ball. Like, they were scheming to get Tyler Herro on the ball handler, and we couldn't do anything to stop it.
Yes. And one thing that should have been able to counteract that is having another big out there in Kevin Love, so Spo can try to do these quick rotations or quick switches on defense. And Kevin Love was getting cooked just as bad as anybody else, even though he's
Kevin Love is the worst defender on this team.
He is. That was supposed to be the one thing to counteract it, because before you had Caleb Martin starting, and then they could switch Bam on to anybody else, and the other team's big could cook anybody. I don't like. You're right. Toronto did a lot to get their mismatches with Tyler, and Scotty Barnes went off a lot of times because he wasn't boxed out, or he was boxed out by Tyler, which is basically like no one was there anyways. But anyways, you asked me about Bam. Very disappointed he didn't step up. I want to give him credit for the shot attempts because that is something we wouldn't have seen in years past. He would have came out all timid, maybe taking 10, 11 shots. He took 18 tonight. I was happy with it, but just overall, he's way too sloppy. He's way too sloppy. There's no bag, no post moves. He got off the gates a little quick, a little aggressive, but he couldn't just find anything going forward. And that's the biggest thing I want to see from him next year is really take that jump as the offensive guy because he's the guy saying, I want to be a flat out scorer. I want to shoot threes. Well, show it to me when you get the chance.
And I want to give him credit for the shot attempts, but I felt like a lot of that came when the game was out of hand already. Like it just didn't feel like throughout the game, like I felt his presence enough. And it's still another point that you're talking about like when we had Caleb Martin in the game, like he'd get switched onto the big. But like the point of having Kevin Love was to be able to rebound. And like you said, like Scotty Barnes and all of those, like Pascal, everybody was just grabbing rebounds over whatever lineup we threw out there. So it's just kind of like if Kevin Love is going to be that shit on defense, you might as well have Caleb out there if he's not mitigating the rebounding disparity anyway. Because we got killed on the boards, no matter who was out there. Dan the Film Jet told me in the comments that I missed his don't know, so I came back and found it. He said, Duncan is a bum. I repeat, he's an overpaid bum. For the final time, Duncan is an overpaid bum. Congrats on D Wade, though. Yeah, man. Shout out Dwayne Wade being named the Hall of Famer tonight. He's headlining that class. I don't really care about nobody else that's in it. I'm pretty sure there's some good people in there, but fuck them. Dwayne Wade is the Hall of Famer in that class. Stone, I want you to talk about Bam. Shit was terrible tonight, bro, so I'm not going to give you no direction. Just go ahead.
Yeah, no, just to follow up on one thing, though, about Tyler Herro, to quote Jamal Crawford, they put that sixth man of the year in about 100 pick and rolls, and they just ate all night. But back to Bam. I'm concerned with effort. The effort looks just nothing like we've seen from Bam for 5 years here since the All-Star break. You know, I was willing to give him like a month and then like, you know, but we're getting to pretty serious time here. You can't be taking plays off when you're Bam Adebayo. You can't be walking back on defense because it's not so much about you hustling back to make that one play. It's more about like when Jimmy Butler is not on the court, at least on the defensive end, everyone is going to turn their heads and look at Bam and say, what do we do? And so I kind of hold him accountable for holding the defense accountable on most nights. And tonight, I mean, we can talk about the matchup hunting, whatever we want to talk about, but I just didn't like, I think your point is really key here, Royal. His presence wasn't felt, you know, like that's something I don't think Spo can make adjustments for. That's something that I believe falls solely on Bam Adebayo's shoulders. Obviously, a team built more to, you know, help him I would think, help his game grow. But I'm not going to use cop-outs. I'm not going to use excuses. When Bam had that really hot month, I thought he took this lead. And so there's standards now. We have to hold him accountable. And he has not been living up to that standard that he has set for himself. We've seen him play way better basketball than this, even a year ago. If you go back and watch the Toronto game from last year where we had all those COVID guys and we call Mario Chalmers up, I mean, you're going to be seeing just two completely different Bam Adebayos. And so I don't know what it's going to take to get Bam going, but that's the only way. Forget about even this season. That's the only way forward for this organization is for someone to get in there and light a fire under Bam's ass, basically, because he's dogging it at this point. The effort's not there, and that's never okay from Bam Adebayo. If the shots aren't there, whatever, but the effort's got to be there every night. That's largely what you're being paid for.
Yeah, I think you make the best point. Like when Jimmy's not there, then everybody's going to look to Bam like, okay, lead us. Like, how are we going to play tonight? You dictate how we're going to play tonight. And when he's half-assing it or dogging it, as you said, like it leads to shit like that. It leads the team to start to lean on Tyler Herro. Because Tyler Herro, he don't give a fuck who out there. He going to play the way he going to play. So, but when he's the one out front of your team because Bam is dogging it, then you get this. You get Tyler taking shots and nobody else really involved in the offense in any way that's meaningful or sustainable throughout the course of a game. Alex, I want you to talk about Bam tonight. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Bam was pretty mid tonight. That's the bulk of the discussion on Bam I want to have. I want to spend the rest of my time discussing this man here, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is potentially having trouble in paradise over in Portland. He may or may not run from the grind. I suppose we will find out over the course of this offseason. He could help highlight Bam's game by drawing extra threat to the outside of the court. He can penetrate. He can shoot the three. He's going to have a green light from about 35 feet and the logo and beyond. The man is an absolute menace on the court. So I think one thing to help improve Bam would maybe be potentially acquiring Damian Lillard via trade. Now, I don't know if that's something this front office can actually do. They've shown that they really just don't care about trading 14 at all. Apparently God himself is below 14 on the pecking order for this front office. So who knows if they'll consider Damian Lillard in that same vein. But yeah, I mean, anyone that can score 70 points in a game, I think would be an improvement to this roster overall. And, you know, I'm not going to let the whole video play out here, but you kind of get the idea. I think we should, you know, maybe focus on a guy like Damian Lillard this offseason to help improve Bam's game.
What people are going to say, first of all, they're going to say that we can't do it. They're going to say that the Heat can be beat in packages, which is fine. You know what I mean? But they're also going to talk about how Dame Lillard doesn't play defense. And I find that ironic when the person that we're considering trading is Tyler Herro, and he just got repeatedly beat on defense tonight.
Tyler Herro is not averaging 30 points a game.
Listen, he had 33 tonight. Bro, listen, I don't give a fuck how y'all look at this Tyler Herro thing, bro. And I don't care how y'all feel about me doing what I do to him. Bro, it is a problem when he is leading our team's offense, bro. And this is what he needs to do in order to be the version of him that you all think he can become. He cannot do this within the confines of a regular NBA offense. He can't. He has to play like this. But I don't want to stick on Tyler or Bam. There were several people who sucked tonight. So, no, we're going to go backwards. Let's go Alex first this time. Alex, of the rest of the bunch, you can pick anybody you want to talk about. Who, in your eyes, sucked quite a bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, you already mentioned like you need a guy that plays defense. Like, what about a guy like Jaylen Brown? You know, Jaylen Brown can get to the hoop pretty easily. He's a good two-way defender. You know, he is known to be able to lock down the best guy on opposing teams for an extended point in the game. He can also, you know, hit the three. He is athletic. Black lateral movement, as a famed man once said. And I think, you know, he would be a pretty good improvement over about 99% of this roster. Recent reports out of Boston are that Jaylen Brown himself is a little disgruntled, maybe not too big of a fan of the Boston fan base over there. They have been known to say some choice expletives describing certain players of certain races. However, you know, he is not seemingly engaged in the media. So maybe this is a guy that he could go for this offseason. Maybe they have the potential assets. I don't know if you need a 3-team trade to get this done because the Celtics might not want to trade in conference to a rival like the Heat. But yeah, you know, you wanted to focus a little bit more on defense. So here's a guy that's a little bit better on the defensive end.
You know what they'll say. Jaylen Brown can't dribble, but 14 also has his fair share of issues when somebody sends a trap his way. I'm just saying. Stone, of the other guys that was out there, who would you like to talk about tonight? Because Alex is going haywire. He's going off the ranch today.
Yeah, I don't really know what the fuck Alex is doing. I mean, he's talking about lottery picks. I don't want those guys coming in here and messing up our culture. Let me go to some undrafted players, just kind of go through this. Oh, wow. Max Strus played 27 minutes on a professional basketball court and scored 3 points tonight. Man, I can't if I didn't have to do this show tonight, my TV would have been off when they came out to start the fourth quarter with the Lowry, Strus, Duncan, Caleb, Zeller 5. That I love my dog, Mr. Z, but the other four, that's like my least four, like my most least desirable 4 players I would ever trot out on a court together. It was almost like Spo was just like waving a white flag, and somehow they got them back in the game. And then Lowry missed 2 wide open layups to just like end that hope, even if it is hope. Listen, that one caught me off guard a little bit. Yeah, they're just all some ass. There's some undrafted free agent ass. I'm starting to think UDFA, the A stands for ass. I don't know what the rest of it stands for, but these guys are just maybe to use united, something united group of ass. And that's what we trot out there on most nights. It was cool to see Jimmy like kind of carry this team for a couple of games and like inspire that hope. But I think that the Nets game this past weekend is just like, I mean, it caused like this momentum shift. I don't know that they're going to come back from. And this season has just felt very circular. I'd say most teams, like their season looks more like a stock chart. Maybe it goes up and down a little bit. Maybe it goes up. Maybe it goes down. But for the Heat, it's just been a giant freaking circle. I mean, I don't know how they get out of it. It's felt like a circle since the bubble, honestly. If you count it like in their off-season moves, like, you know, draft a guy in the 20s and then like use him to make a terrible trade. I kind of see this path going forward. Like I could see this very much happening this summer. They moved Precious for Kyle Lowry. I could see them moving Jovic for someone else I don't want. You know, like it's just we're the group of undesirables, like just misfits, and Spo just goes out there and does what he can every night. And you know, sometimes like these guys just out effort other guys in the course of a marathon of an 82 game season. But as we're seeing, as these games start to really become serious and matter, that's not going to do shit for this team in the next 2-3 weeks, whenever we can finally get our Cancun posts off.
Listen, bro, that shit gonna be legendary. I need to go get a Hawaiian shirt, and I need to go get it swiftly because Toronto is one of the teams that we could potentially match up with in a play-in scenario, and that doesn't bode well in our favor. George, first of all, don't get in these comments rushing me about no fucking $2 Australian. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But thank you for the $2 dingo dollars. Stone, you are him, but leave the mustache to Ant and I. Ant barely has a mustache, bro. Like that shit. Damn, I'll tell y'all the joke that I made off air, like in my head, that was about to come out. Y'all just remind me of what I was about to say about Ant mustache after that, and then I'll tell y'all. HM, thank you for the $5 dono. He said, my biggest issue is that Bam seems perfectly comfortable deferring to Tyler. He said, man has all NBA talent with 0 dog, which equals all-star instead. That's pretty valid. Like, I think that's where he falls in line. Like, he's going to be a perennial all-star, but I think he might end up missing the mark on what he could have been because of his, I guess, indifference towards deferring to the lesser players at times. Relaxing Music, thank you for the $1.99 dono. He said the Heat are like that one Big Sean song. I don't fuck with you. Is that the one you talking about? Because I don't fuck with them either. Like, I ain't fucking with that.
Ass.
You're the winner. Go ahead and tell me about some of the other players that were fucking terrible out here.
Man, I dare Heat fans to talk about Damian Lillard's defense. I dare them. We are so down bad right now that we get excited when we see Cody Zeller on the court, okay? I dare them to talk about Jaylen Brown's handles. We are so down bad. I was just celebrating a Tyler Herro performance in which he was a -7. We're so down bad right now. I would kill to have one of those guys on the roster right now just to make something more interesting. But the guy that I want to talk about is Duncan Robinson's bum ass because he hasn't got enough slander from me. I used to be an avid fan of this guy, so much so that he actually gave me the shout out.
Anthony, my guy.
This is an Anthony DiNardo special.
I'm disgusted that man even said my name. I wish that he would take a bar of soap and rub it on his tongue because I'm disgusted to have ever had my name come out. I hate that shit so much, Justin. You got to stop that. Listen, I used to listen to his podcast. So I even went to buy tickets to his live show one time that got canceled because he was too scared to show up just so he hasn't showed up for this team. I used to listen to his podcast, and he said that once he got the contract, it put a different set of pressure on him because now because it put a different set of pressure on him now that he has to feel like he has a contract to live up to. If that ain't the dumbest shit that I ever heard, bro, you got paid. There's no more pressure. Go out there and hoop. All I'm asking is that you hit open threes. That's all I'm asking. I even wrote a song from my personal channel a while ago to the beat of Cold Like Minnesota by Lil Yachty. And I said, cold like Duncan Robinson, he can't make a shot. $90 million, but now Max Strus is on top. And that song is stupid now, too, because Max Strus is just as ass as him. I hate both of those guys. We pay you to do one job, literally one job, and you can't even barely do it. Not even to the minimalist degree. Neither guy. There's nothing more frustrating when I feel like I could genuinely go out there and do a better job than he is.
How the Heat better than teams with more talent like the Raps? The Heat are not better than the Raptors. They just beat us tonight. They have a better record than the Raptors. But do you think the Heat can beat the Toronto Raptors in a one-game scenario? Like, after what you've seen, like what you've seen tonight, it was convincing. Like, it wasn't like, it didn't feel like a fluke. It felt like they had an advantage that they knew about, and they just played to that advantage. That is the problem. Hold on. It says, Roy, you're going to get sick when the Heat win a playoff game because of Tyler Herro calling it right now. They have to make it to a playoff game, Valeria. They may not. So, you can't be flawed.
I agree with Valeria, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. Let's keep things cordial today. Heat Nation is split as is. We all down bad. Let's at least be friends with all of us, man.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna make it to no playoff because I just don't trust this team. Like the point I was just making about the Raptors having a decided advantage over Miami and going right to that. I feel like that's the case for several teams. Like, and it's not just limited to the teams at the top of the Eastern Conference. I think Cleveland has a similar advantage in terms of size and length and athleticism. I think New York, to an extent, has an advantage in terms of guard play that they can expose repeatedly. Even Julius Randle's played well against us in certain stints. But, like, Toronto has an advantage over us. Atlanta has an advantage over us in terms of, like, speed and stuff like that. So, I don't really have a question for that. That was just like a point that I made, and I don't have a general direction that I want to go with.
Do we agree that if the Heat match up versus Atlanta, the Miami's busting their ass? That just has to do with that team.
Define busting their ass. I think that they're going to win the game, but by like 5.
They're just pretty Trae Young centric, and Miami's kind of figured out that formula is all. Like that's the one team that really doesn't scare me. Outside of that, yeah, any team could give us a run for our money.
Yeah, I agree with that Atlanta thing. That's the one team that Miami's kind of figured out, but not like offensively. It's just they figured out how to eliminate Trae Young. They haven't figured out shit about DeJounte Murray. They don't know what to do with him, and he could very well beat the Miami Heat in a one-game playoff. Like, that's the thing. Like, Atlanta is as comfortable as I feel, or Atlanta's the team that I feel most comfortable about in a one-game scenario. So I'm interested into who you guys' one-game scenario, like, who do you feel most comfortable about in a one-game scenario? Because that's probably where this is headed. Alex, let's go to you, bro. Like, what team in the East do you feel most comfortable about Miami in a one-game scenario?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it comes down to like guard play and athleticism, like you mentioned. And I think like that's a great segue into a guy like Zach LaVine. And I feel pretty comfortable against the Bulls, but not because Zach LaVine, he's going to get his every single time. He can handle the ball fairly well. He can shoot the three. He is one of the most athletic guys in the league. He can score at will. He averaged, before DeMar got there, he averaged 25 on, I believe, close to 50, 40, 90. And I believe he was averaging 5 assists and 5 rebounds at that point as well. So, you know, he is capable of passing the ball and getting some boards to help out the team when needed. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're looking for a dude that is going to bring that athleticism and that guard play and that length to this roster, which is what we lack severely when you have, you know, potentially guys like Gabe Vincent resigning, who is barely scraping by at 6 foot. Kyle Lowry is still unfortunately under contract, but you know, he is just a little bit over 6 foot wide. And you know, we have much shorter guards than the rest of the league and very, very unathletic guards. So Zach LaVine is going to be that guy that can, you know, get you a bucket at will, control the game, and you know, explode to the rim when needed.
Saying Kyle Lowry is 6 foot wide is a bar that's going to go over most people's head, but I caught it mid-sentence, so don't worry, I got you. I'm here for you. Second of all, I saw that down there and had no idea what team that was, so I was trying to figure out how to set you up to throw that to you, but you did a beautiful job taking that sloppy pass and making something of it. I want to thank my guy Pride by Pack TV with the $4.99. Don't know, my boy say, scoop, 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 scoop. Hey, listen, bro. Y'all know how we feel about that thing over here. We with that. Like if Miami's not gonna get to the lottery, bro. Like we're not gonna lose enough games. I feel like they're gonna do some stupid shit like blow out the New York Knicks tomorrow, and like we're gonna do the same seesaw thing for the rest of the season. So, HM, thank you for the $2 dono. He said, "How about the literally useless Kyle Lowry?" I'm with that too, bro. He did. Kyle Lowry, Stone. I know you and Kyle Lowry have a long history. Tell me about him, bro. Like he was 1 of 6 tonight, so just as bad as everybody else on the roster.
Has anyone ever enjoyed watching him play basketball to the extent that he's made a 17-year career out of it? It's actually freaking nuts. It blows my mind. There's nothing he does on a basketball court that legitimately is exciting. Nothing that requires like that great of athleticism, clearly. He's just like, he plays the game such an annoying way. He's always in disbelief to the refs. He's always falling all over the place. Like he's the type of guy where like, if he injures your franchise player, he might get like a DM from me that doesn't say some nice things in it. That's he just really has a way of rubbing other people like just wrong. And I really can't believe that this man is respected and liked and people bought jerseys in Toronto. I never wanted him to come to Miami. I always thought it was a bad idea. An overweight 37-year-old point guard never made any sense in my head, especially trying to replicate like the one-of-one success that Chris Paul had in like one bubble year. It's like it was stupid from the start. It's stupid now, and it'll always be stupid. The question is, like, what's the jumping off point of this roller coaster? Do we get another year with Kyle? Is he gone in the summer? How do you, like, at this point, how do you move him? Especially, like, assuming he doesn't do anything crazy off the bench.
Kyle is quite a large man. He's going to be very hard to move.
Hey, listen, here at the basement, we got all sorts of shipping containers, okay? They come in all sizes.
Forklifts, cranes, the works, bitch. We'll get his ass up out of here.
Naval aircraft carrier if it takes. We are willing. We will move him. If we had to move mountains to move him, we will move him. It might
we
feel
need
like
the helicarrier from the first Avengers movie, my friend.
That's exactly what we need. Except that shit would go straight down with him on top of it. I mean, it could hold the Hulk, Thor, but you throw that ass on there, and that shit is gonna fucking crash hard. I'm done with him. I'm done with these kind of moves. Like, I want to see this team show me they're serious again. I want to see them get another star. It's like put up or shut up time. That's kind of where I'm at in that regard. I don't know. And here's like a question I kind of want to throw back to you guys. Like, what do you think is like the best result for getting this front office to be serious in the offseason? Is it losing in the play-in? Is it losing to Cleveland? Is it losing to, like, what's something that could really light a fire under this front office's ass to get them to make trades this offseason that are actually meaningful?
I like that. And you answer it first.
Yeah, if it takes more than what's already happened, then that's sad. I mean, I'm being serious because I don't ever root for the team to lose. I know some people in the network do. I don't. But the one positive I get from the losses is this team can't fool the front office. You know, we'll see that sometimes, like with the 30-11 team, for example. They won too much. It fooled the front office to give them contracts. As we sit today, there is no way in hell the front office can be fooled by anybody on the roster. Literally not a single person. If they somehow have a strong next 2 weeks and win a playoff series, maybe that happens. But we all know that's fake. Like we all know that'd be fool's gold. Maybe it's enough to fool the senile man in the front office. But that's kind of why I'm hoping that if things stay as course, they'll probably make the playoffs. If they get matched up with Atlanta, they'll beat them in the playing game. no way they win more than one game in the first round. And if you get out of the first round in 4 or 5, there's no way they don't come into next season with a completely different roster. There's just no way, because I know Pat Riley doesn't like to lose, and this will be a terrible ending to this season for him.
One thing, like one person on this roster has fooled the front office. The master magician himself, the boy wonder, because that shit is smoke and mirrors, man, ladies and gentlemen. That shit is smoke and mirrors. What he did tonight, that is, look at this hand so that you don't see what this one doing. Alex, go ahead and answer the question, bro, because I think that's a beautiful question. What has to happen?
Yeah, I'm going to hit this from both angles because we were actually talking about this in the group chat the other day. So the worst thing that could happen to make the front office believe more in this team is actually if the Knicks beat us tomorrow, the Heat will have a losing record versus the Nets and the Knicks. You would think that that's relevant for playoff seeding because it is if it's only each individual team. However, if the Knicks, Nets, and Heat all finish with the same record, head-to-head no longer matters. So the Heat could be worse against the Nets and the Knicks and still finish with the same record as the both of them and get the 5th seed. Now, going from there, they luck into the 5th seed based off of that. They play an inexperienced, younger Cleveland team in round 1, and they somehow manage to scrape out maybe a 6 or a 7 game series win on the back of an elite Jimmy Butler performance. That is the worst thing that could happen to this team, because now the front office is again believing they can win with anyone, and they don't have the parts to make a deep run with the current roster as constructed, even the core as constructed. Now, the best thing that could happen, in my opinion, is missing the playoffs entirely, but that's not looking realistic. So the next best thing would be to lose in the play-in with Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler all being very, very good, all at the same time, and you still lose in the play-in. Because now the front office is going to have to assess this core all played well, and they still fucking suck. And we still didn't even get into the playoffs. We lost in the play-in. So ultimately, they would be forced to look in the mirror very long and hard and make a change if all 3 of those players played really well and they still lost.
Yeah, I want them to lose both play-in games. I don't care if that's what makes the front office do it. It'll make the stupid-ass fan base figure it out. Like, I don't care what will make the front office see shit. I want this dumbass fan base to see what this team is and accept that. Lose both of them shits so that you can stop assuming that we're the best play-in team because of history. This is an average-ass team. We are just as bad as Toronto. We're just as bad as Atlanta. And whoever else is the other team in here that I can't remember. We're just as bad as all of them. If
I want to. Can I jump on that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk about like past history. Like they haven't won a title in 10 years. Ant, what were you doing 10 years ago?
10 years ago, I would have been 14 years old. You don't want to know what any 14-year-old boy is doing.
So you were, you were a young buck, freshman in high school. Stone, I imagine something very similar to that, right? And then Royal, you had like one fewer child at that point in your life. So like a whole nother human came into your life in the span of that time period. Yes. So over the last 10 years, nothing has had, like you lost. You've lost every time over the last 10 years. LeBron James never won a title until he did. The Golden State Warriors had 3 playoff series wins over a 20-year span until they won 4 titles in 8 years. So I'm tired of like the Knicks are dysfunctional. The Knicks have been a dysfunctional team and a front office for 20 plus years now until they're not. And that's sort of like how life works, is like you fix the shit that happens to either make your situation better, or you get stuck in the mud and you keep relying on the last 10, 20 years of your life and thinking it's going to continue in the same fashion. You can only hit the lottery once, likely.
You know what's crazy, Alex? It's like I agree with the words that are coming out of your mouth, like 100%. I don't have any disagreement with them. But that Knicks thing, bro, that franchise is fucking cursed. And like my Heat fan hatred will not allow me to like fully buy into them maximizing the treasure trove that they have in-house right now. But I like I said, I agree with the words that you're saying. Like the Knicks suck until they don't. And right now they're in prime position not to suck. But until they do that, they still suck. So I can't.
I'll give that to you. I'll give that to you.
I can't do it. Dan the Film Jet with the $5 don't know. He said Kyle Lowry should advertise a Hungry Hippos board game in the future. They can take the hippos parts out of it. Just call it Hungry, and that'll describe Kyle Lowry's life.
I'm on it, Dan. Another great idea.
Thank you, HM, with the $5 don't know. He said put Kyle Lowry in the mascot suit so he can at least earn some of his money. His contract is embarrassing. No more Jimmy buddies unless it's Kyrie. Listen, I would love Kyrie just as much as the next guy, but I think that the Heat are going to allow that ship to sail. Like the Heat are going to allow that because of too many different circumstances. Press the thumbs up. Absolutely. Make sure y'all leave us a like on this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Basement Sports Network if you have not already. And another plug, make sure y'all check out the latest episode of the Random Scrub Heat podcast. Them boys put on a show with Brendan Tobin. It was a wonderful episode. And great job on there. Shout out to my guy Harry. Shout out to my guy George. They held it down for the boys. They've been pulling in some pretty big guests. So make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the Random Scrub Heat podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Anywhere that you listen to your podcast, you can find this podcast. But make sure y'all go subscribe to that as well. And catch
the
up
video
on all
version. The video version will be up this week too because we have some fun graphics. So make sure y'all check that out too.
No, for sure.
Hey.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, y'all can add new audio clip to your intro, too. You can get Precious Achua in there. I mean, I'm pretty sure he hit a ton of shots tonight. There should be some good audio clips in there for another random scrub Heat killer. So it was cool to see that happen. But
is he random when we draft him, Stone? Like, is he?
I thought it was random when we drafted him. So, yes.
Touche, but Precious Achua falls into a category all of his own because he is slowly becoming a Heat killer, not random because we drafted him, but like he's like no other player that we've drafted has come back to like haunt us like this. Like not
Never.
that I can think of.
Never. I always say, let them go. Like, please prove me wrong that these Heat players can be better somewhere else. And he might be the first to do it, but he went to like.
That seems like something Stone to do for real. Thank you, HM, for the $2 don't know. He said Herro is the GOAT of meaningless buckets. Talk, HM. I know you're a basketball coach, but that means you know ball, bro. So I'm gonna let that comment sit and ferment for a little while. Well, we gotta get to this $20 from BB. Thank you for the dub. He said only if we had a local college team that could distract us from all this mess. Like, where do you even start? LOL. Shout out to FAU, both UMs, and my alma mater, NSU, for getting to the D2 national title. I see you, Nova. Yo, shout out to every South Florida basketball team not named the Miami Heat. They are doing their thing out here right now, including Ant and the boys over there in the Grandma of Christ Church League. Like, that boy is over there killing your favorite 65 and 66-year-old geriatrics. So make sure y'all check them out because he can't hoop against real people. Let's go on to the next game because I don't give a fuck about this game anymore. I've had my fun and I'm done with you now. We're playing the New York Knicks tomorrow at 7:30. At least we ain't in front of the hose. Alex, the boy feeling good?
No, they're gonna lose this game. But I did want to go back to one thing that you mentioned on like players that we draft that like don't come back to haunt us or do come back to haunt us. And I think, maybe like for one last time here, we could potentially, see Tyler Herro himself come back and haunt us on the New Orleans Pelicans by acquiring one Brandon Ingram, who is, the KD light, as some like to say. He can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot. He can defend. He can pass. He can drive to the bucket. He can pull up from 18 feet. He can do it all. And ultimately, Tyler Herro would be a New Orleans Pelican, and maybe he would cook us for 21 points on 36 shots one of these nights. But, ultimately we would have the better of the two players from that deal, and you would have a pretty dynamic front court with a Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo combo going forward. Now, that doesn't necessarily solve our guard problems, but that might be something that we can discuss for the next time.
That is true. We'd have a problem figuring out. Man, Alex, you sound so toxic, man. Keep it fun, man. We're not blind, dude. This is fun for me. Because I like Brandon Ingram a whole lot. And I would absolutely trade Tyler for him. The problem that I would see with that is that Brandon Ingram doesn't want to play power forward. So would Jimmy finally play power forward? No.
Then trade Jimmy Butler too, baby. I'm back in my wheelhouse. Let's go.
Back in the bag. But hey, just to bless my boy. It feel like you in the basement chat now, the network chat. Cause I said the same thing when I listened. It was a lot.
That's my guy. Hey, that's my favorite all time.
Oh, we know it was a lot of Tobin and Leroy knob slobbery going on in that podcast, but for good reason. I like the man. Like it was an engaging podcast. He brought us some pretty fun memories for those of you who've kind of, you got me. For those of you who follow like the Tobin and Leroy thing, like he brought us some pretty dope memories from that. So just check out the pod and then like listen for yourself, bro. Like it was a fun pod to listen to. I want to thank my girl Jess Lansbury for the $10 dono. She said, "Can we pick a new team, please? I want to be on Postgame tomorrow for someone else. I'm done." You know what? Everybody in the comments, tell us what game that we should watch tomorrow, and instead of doing the Heat postgame show, we'll do another postgame show.
My team does play tomorrow night. If y'all want me to live stream the game, do a little live reaction.
Listen, bro, hold on. Let me see if they playing tomorrow because we were going to get the Orlando Magic.
I looked, they're not.
They're not playing tomorrow. The Orlando Magic not playing. But yeah, if y'all want to see us do another game tomorrow, say yeah, and then tell us what team that y'all want to do before we end up wrapping this show up. Stone, the boy feeling good?
I mean, who knows? Like, I feel like these guys just wake up in the morning and they say, tonight's the night Max Strus will take 15 shots, or, tonight's the night Tyler will do it. And they kind of just point fingers at each other until Jimmy comes back and puts the backpack on and takes over. So if Jimmy plays tomorrow, I don't know, it could be kind of fun and testy, especially with the late game drama with him and Randall at the end of the game, last game. But I don't know. This team has no identity, so I never know what I'm going to expect night to night. In New York, probably a loss coming off a back-to-back. We played everyone tonight, and everyone was terrible. No confidence. Going to be a lot of ball watching if Jimmy comes back. If not, these guys aren't going to figure it out overnight, and they're just going to be tired and get smoked by the Knicks. So a lot of it hinges on health.
No, it doesn't, Stone. We can be fully healthy and we could lose to the New York Knickerbockers tomorrow, bro. Easily. Darius Jordan with the $5 donation. Appreciate you, nasty man, for popping in. He said, "Missed the game. I see it was bad. What happened?" You know what happened.
Another Miami Heat adventure.
Yeah, we went on another Miami NBA adventure. What you said, Stone?
I'll repeat it one more time. They put that 6 man of the year in about 100 different pick and rolls.
That is precisely what happened. So for this game, we got a lot of games that people wanted. Warriors. What time do Warriors play? I'm not doing a West Coast game. That's out. But I saw a lot of the Phoenix, Minnesota games. I see Jess wanted to do the Lakers game. What time do the Lakers play? But the Lakers suck. The Lakers play at 8 versus the Bulls.
Clippers Grizzlies is 8 p.m. start East time.
We can discuss that. I think Clippers Grizzlies might be good. Somebody says, "I'm not doing that 10 p.m. shit." There's no more West Coast games for me. The boy feeling good?
Man, I'll tell you, I was so bored watching this game. My phone started at like 78% battery. It's at 19% now because I was on TikTok the whole game, Candy Crush, anything but watching that stupid game once Toronto started running away with it. Fortunately, I don't have to watch tomorrow. I am busy. As I said earlier, my boys are playing tomorrow. Team Better Than Will. At 7 p.m., we play the Dynasty Bucketmakers. I will be filming the game. I will be posting the highlights. Now, I did see the last team we played last week was a bunch of white guys, like Royal said. We bust their ass. The team we're playing tomorrow, does have several athletic black dudes. If I was Tyler Herro, I'd be terrified, but I am not, so I'm feeling good. It's going to be a good one, y'all, and we'll see what happens, man, as we look to go 3-0. But, yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, no, it would not be a good one because he going to blow that shit out. Fuck is you talking about? I do not care if we lose the game tonight. This is the New York Knicks. Okay? Y'all remember what happened to them last time we played them? Oh, yeah. Something very similar is about to happen tomorrow. Now, I also remember what happened when we played them the time before that. But that don't count. We not counting that one for this narrative. Thank you, Nasty Man, for the $20 dono. He said, so Tyler can't play defense? I thought he was D-Book. He thought he was D-Book, too.
Better than D-Book. Better.
Aim higher is what they told him. Whatever. But either way, the Heat about to blow that shit out. Fuck is y'all talking about? I don't really have any supporting facts because they said Kyle Lowry's not going to play in back-to-backs, which means he's absolutely out for tomorrow. Not like that matters or anything. It was just something that was said, and I felt like repeating it. Don't know if Jimmy Butler's going to play. So that means more Victor Oladipo, more shameless Highsmith, and Tyler and Bam trying to figure out which one of them should be taking more shots than the other. It should be fun. We're not going to be on here talking about that. We're going to talk about another game because I don't want to see that shit. I'm probably going to have that one on the phone and something else on the big TV. But I don't know. Y'all will find out tomorrow when we get on here, bro. It don't really matter. Thank you guys in the comments, as always, for joining the show, making it much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my guys, Ant. Thank you to Stone. Thank you to my boy, Alex. And, of course, Cain, Justin in the background on the ones and twos. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Play the video, Justin.
Knocked to the outside, tracked down by Adebayo with just under 7 minutes to go in the fourth. They have matched their largest lead.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. It won't be long before you're playing point guard for the Guangdong Tigers. You trash-ass motherfucker. Fuck out of my face with that bullshit.